Support for Up to Date is provided by Geisinger, providing world-class care for our community, here where it matters.
Hello and happy Friday. Welcome to Up to Date from WVIA News. I'm Sarah Scinto, here to catch you up before the weekend with all the news you should know about. Today we have an update on a parasitic infection that's been reported in Pennsylvania and 30 other states. And we look into the new state budget a bit more. One provision requires recess in elementary schools. It's Friday, July 17th. Let's get you up to date. We'll get right into that health news today. Pennsylvania is one of more than 30 states that have reported cases of a parasitic infection that causes diarrhea. The state's Department of Health recorded 28 cases of cyclosporiasis so far this year. 2 of those are in northeast Pennsylvania. WVIA's Lydia McFarlane has the story.
The Centers for Disease Control, or CDC, reported more than 1,500 cases nationally since May, with more than 5,000 that require further analysis. The true number of infections is likely much higher due to reporting limitations and the lag between symptom onset and reporting. Last year, only 249 cases were reported by this time. Dr. Roman Tuma is an infectious disease doctor at UPMC Williamsport. He says so far in Pennsylvania, most cases are outpatient.
I just talked with the hospitalists here. But we really haven't seen any increase in cases at UPMC Williamsport Medical Center at this point.
The most common symptom is diarrhea. It could take time after exposure until symptoms start to manifest.
It's probably at least a week to 10 days, maybe 14 days. That's the estimated incubation period.
Health officials do not know the cause of the national outbreak. Previous outbreaks have been linked to imported fresh produce, like bagged salads and berries. Pennsylvania's Department of Health recommends washing fresh produce before consumption. Tuma says it originates from contaminated water, produce, and can even come from contaminated surfaces.
Keep washing your hands. Food that you can wash properly or peel, or if you can eat food that you can heat, I would think, to at least 153 degrees Fahrenheit.
The CDC recommends antibiotics and hydration if you do get infected. For WVIA News, I'm Lydia McFarlane.
Thanks, Lydia. Find the full story at WVIA.org. Now, as promised, a bit more on the state budget. Pennsylvania lawmakers failed to pass a statewide school cell phone ban in their latest budget, but they are getting students off screens in another way. Jillian Forstat reports for WVIA.
Legislation that passed as part of the new budget requires elementary schools statewide to give students at least 30 minutes for recess each day. And it notes that this time, when possible, should not involve electronic devices. Sally Sherman is an associate professor at the University of Pittsburgh's School of Education.
And the interesting thing about recess that's really important is that usually in recess, it's unstructured play, as opposed to physical education that tends to be more structured.
Sherman says that means students get to be creative, develop conflict resolution skills, and get the cardiovascular and fitness benefits that come with physical activity. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommend kids get at least 60 minutes of physical activity each day.
So recess is one strategy to help us get them closer to that 60 minutes.
In Pittsburgh, I'm Jillian Forstat.
Stay with us. There's more up to date after this break.
I'm Roger Dupuis from WVIA News. If you haven't already, sign up to get our free newsletter, WVIA News Notes. It's delivered right to your email inbox each Tuesday and Friday mornings. Go to WVIA.org and click on newsletters to subscribe.
Welcome back. So also in the state budget, there's a small raise for the arts in Pennsylvania. As Peter Crimmins reports for WVIA, the additional $1 million is the first increase in arts funding in 16 years.
Since 2009, state arts funding has stagnated at $9.5 million.
In essence, because of cost of living, they've been shrinking.
Kelly Gibson is with Creative Pennsylvania.
Even though it doesn't feel like $1 million is a lot, it's a huge increase for the cultural community across the state.
That increase for the Pennsylvania Council of the Arts, also known as Creative Industries, is earmarked for, quote, historically underserved communities. That sounds a lot like a program the Arts Council had eliminated earlier this year, one called Preserving Diverse Cultures. Eric Cesar Morales of the Movement of Arts Administrators in Pennsylvania says this allotment functions the same as Preserving Diverse Cultures without using the political word diverse.
What Preserving Diverse Cultures is doing is recognizing that there's amazing cultures all throughout the Commonwealth that need support and development. Those populations can be anything, as long as they're underserved.
Morales credits the funding increase to a coordinated advocacy effort of hundreds of arts groups across the state. Peter Crimmins, WHYY News.
All right, one last thing for the day. It's time for Community Connection with WVIA's Lisa Mazzarella.
The Cherished Cats Rescue Alliance was a nonprofit established in Lewisburg to make sure foster cats got a good home. Angela Browse, vice president of the alliance, says the Scratching Post Cat Cafe was the first of its kind in central Pennsylvania. Angela Browse takes the story from here.
In 2017, I was working at Bucknell University, and a colleague named Sarah also worked there. And we both did rescue on our own. I would find some kittens, or another rescue would find kittens, and I would foster for them, and found myself raising these kittens and really loving it. And I had seen in some large cities, such as Washington, D.C., L.A., and New York City, they had what was called cat cafes. And at the time, it was a relatively new concept. They were only in these big cities. And Sarah was also rescuing cats at the time. And I said to her, we should do this. This is kind of cool. She said, I just submitted paperwork to start a nonprofit so I could continue to do this rescue work, but yet do it as a nonprofit and hopefully get some financial donations and help. And that's how the idea came about. Within a couple weeks, we were trying to find some other leaders to join us just to kind of see what people thought of this idea of a cat cafe in Lewisburg.
It looks like a beautiful, roomy space where it seems as though the cats have free reign of the house.
If you want to know how a cat's going to behave, you have to kind of see them in a homey environment. All of our cats are free roaming. We don't use cages. It has couches and furniture, so it looks like a living room, windows they can look out into. And it also helps to kind of prepare them for a home environment. When you come in to adopt, you see them kind of in the habitat that they would be in your home. It's definitely beneficial for the people who want to adopt as well as the cats who live there.
Is there a specific vetting process that you have before someone can take a cat home?
We have an application process that we go through, and there are some stipulations if you want to adopt. Most of these cats did come from outdoor areas. They were rescued, whether they came from a colony or were surrendered, but we put a lot of time, effort, and love into these animals, getting them vetted and ready to come to the cafe. So we feel it very important that wherever they are adopted to, they'll have that environment. So indoor is absolutely the safest place for them. We work to fit the right cat with the right home after the person comes in and meets them. You have to have landlord approval if you rent. They have to be indoors. You have to continue with vetting. We absolutely will not adopt out any cats that are not 100% fully vetted. We snap test them for what's called feline leukemia and FIV. We deworm them, we revolution them for fleas, ticks, and mites, we spay, neuter, and we microchip. So we invest about $500 into each kitten that we rescue.
That's a lot of attention to detail, to be sure. But what has been the overall response to this really unique adoption process?
Lewisburg and the Lewisburg Scratching Post was one of the very first rural cafes to open in Pennsylvania. So the response was huge. It's really kind of neat to see that interaction and the joy that the animals bring to the people.
Special thanks to Angela Browse of the Cherished Cats Rescue Alliance and the unique story behind the Cat Cafe in Lewisburg. You can hear the full story on our podcast, wvia.org/community. For WVIA's Community Connection, I'm Lisa Mazzarella.
So, how are we feeling? All caught up and ready for the weekend? Find more stories, as always, at WVIA.org. I'm Sarah Scinto. Thanks for listening this week. We're back on Monday, so make sure you subscribe and tune in wherever you get your podcasts. Have a great weekend, everyone. I'll catch you next time, right here on Up to Date.